Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this video. Right now, I have a guest on screen here with me whose face you may not recognize, right? We're doing this event called the Commission Expo. We've got some of the leading expert in the industry coming to speak and share their secrets from stage. And this individual that I'm about to introduce you to is somebody that I wanted to have speak at our events 2 years in the past, and both times he turned me down, both times. But now he finally said, "All right, Omar, you got me. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna share some secrets with your people." And here's the thing. Here's why you haven't seen his face, and you may not have even heard his name. However, this is a guy who he and his team are behind the finances of some of the biggest names in the industry. I bet you that you've purchased products, or maybe you even continue to purchase products right now and subscribe to services that he actually are clients of his. And his name is Nate Green. Nate used to be a police officer. Interesting thing about Nate, he used to be a police officer. He did that for 4 years, and then he decided, of course, like what most police officers do, is to become an accountant, right? Like
it's just the standard conversion.
Yeah, you know. So he decided to become an accountant, and here's the awesome thing: for 11 years now, he's been running an accounting firm here out of Orlando that has grown by 40% per year. So his own business has shown 40% growth every single year. I wish I could get a fraction of that kind of growth in my business, but thanks to him, our business is in fact having growth. And I'm going to share with you a little bit about how Nate has been able to turn us around. You know what's awesome? Nate's business is all 100% referral. That tells you that his firm and what he's doing for internet marketers and just businesses in general, as far as financing, helping them with their finances, is just amazing, because your business is all referral based. You know what I mean? That's word of mouth based. So Nate Green, thank you so much for being here with us, man.
Thanks for having us, Omar. I appreciate it. This is a great opportunity.
Yeah, so I want to ask you a couple questions. I'm going to put you on the spot. I know you don't do a lot of these interviews, so I'm going to take it easy on you. I'm going to ask a couple of things about your talk at the Commission Expo, because I know that you're sponsoring, so you'll have a booth there. You'll be able to answer financial questions for people and talk about, staying out of trouble with the IRS, man. You'll be able to talk to people about how to keep their money that they make. And this, for internet marketers, especially for us, was something that baffled us in the beginning. And I went through some stages in my own business. I first kind of didn't pay attention to taxes and didn't think it was important enough, because I thought I was too small to even have to worry about it, right? Because I was only making a little bit of money. That was the beginning, right? Then I went through the phase where it's like, well, you know what? I'm not going to pay $150 a month to an accountant. I'll do that, right? And I tried doing it myself with what I termed the green light, red light method. And that is on TurboTax. I just keep changing the numbers until I get a green light, and that's it.
So you get what you want, right?
Exactly. And then I actually went and I started accountant shopping a few years into the business, and I hired the lowest, the cheapest guy that I could find, right? And that was a huge mistake, because I was trying to save money, and I ended up getting a guy that this dude was like 95 years old, right? He didn't even understand how the internet worked, let alone PayPal or anything like that. And when tax time came, he was asking me for the carbon copies of my credit card machine, and I was like, "What?" So I went through all these situations in my business, and then entered Nate Green. And what happened there is we met at a Starbucks. You were referred by someone that I knew, actually, the team at JV Zoo, who you do their accounting and you manage their books. And they're like, hey, you need to talk to Nate. So you and I met in a Starbucks with Melinda, and we started working together. And I want to say that was about 6-7 years ago. I don't even remember how long it's been, but it's probably been around that much amount in that time. And since then, you've really straightened out our books at Higher Level Strategies. You've been able to help me arrange things so that we could buy this house. And it's just been really, really different for us. You were able to remove the whole worry of finances and taxes and all that from our business, which, as our business grew, became a freaking headache, So tell us a little bit about, well, before I even jump into your presentation, can you tell me, Nate, what would you say is your biggest accomplishment in business? As a financial consultant, as an accountant, as a bookkeeper, what would you say is your biggest accomplishment?
I would have to say that over the years, my biggest accomplishment is really been able to help some great people such as yourself get through the process of removing the stress, but then also making it where you're paying less in taxes and you still have the capabilities to buy the house you want and really kind of solidify your future by our systems and processes. And I can talk about different clients are saving people millions of dollars in taxes or tax negotiation cases where we were able to lower the federal amount due to the IRS by $1 million here and there. Even though we have these situations and these tax negotiation places and keeping people out of prison, a lot of these things that we
okay, I got to jump in. Have you really had situations, Nate, where you actually had to do something to keep somebody out of jail?
Yes. So we get engaged to handle tax evasion cases and even money laundering cases where federal attorneys, their defense attorneys, they engage us for their clients, and we actually rebuild their books and assist in positioning and actually get ahead of the investigation by amending tax returns and actually keep people out of jail by doing things properly. And I call it quick, fast janitorial IRS protection.
Wow. Well,
so yes, it's been interesting. So, we could talk about situations and that kind of stuff, but the biggest success to me is having clients so ecstatic about what we do that they continue to refer us and have our firm grow at 40% a year off of people like you. And that's what I call success, is building these relationships.
Right. Well, I didn't have any kind of legal situations with my taxes. Just to set that straight, I'm not the guy he's talking about. All right.
Yeah, I didn't have to tell you not to drop the soap bar, so we're good. Right.
No, our biggest problem was we were doing like the shoebox receipt thing. You know what I mean? And we just weren't. We weren't online. We weren't using QuickBooks. We weren't managing the books. And Nate came in and said, look, man, there's a difference between a bookkeeper, an accountant, a financial planner. You need this piece. You need this piece. You need this piece. And if you're not ready for this piece, no problem. Let's get you ready. Here's the plan to get you ready. You know what I mean? And he just when you came and started doing the books, I remember how happy Melinda was. You know what they say? Happy wife, happy life, right? Well, Melinda's the one that's in charge of our books. She's in charge of all the bookkeeping and stuff. And it was a nightmare for her, man, because she was working with this other dude that just she couldn't communicate with and didn't really give her a good plan or give her structure. And when we started working with you, we had an exact structure. We had goals to meet. We had reports. We had P&Ls every month. We had things to look at. You're teaching us how to look at the different forms. I mean, I remember coming to your office and you sat down with us and like line by line, you had all the paperwork there and you're like, okay, Omar, this is what this means. This is what this means. This can't be higher than that. You need to do this. And we never got that before. We never really understood what those numbers meant. And that was awesome. That was really helpful to us. So, as interesting as the story of who you kept out of jail might be, I want to know what you're going to be talking about at the Commission Expo, because I think we have a wide range, like I told you, of marketers and online business owners. We have some people that are just starting out, that are maybe just making a couple $100 or trying to make their first dollar, and like me, they in the beginning aren't even thinking about financial planning or even protection. And then you got other people that are making six figures a month, and maybe they're not getting good service, or they're putting themselves at risk. So what are you going to be sharing with us at the Commission Expo? What's your talk going to be about?
The whole thing is how to keep your commissions. People like yourself, you teach and train people on how to make the money, and it doesn't matter how much money you make, whether it be $200-300 a month, all the way up to $2,000 to $3,000 a week, and so on and so on. The biggest thing is making sure that you have the right strategies in place that make it where the higher levels don't get to take it, such as the IRS. We need to make sure and keep the money in the family versus the IRS. So we want to make sure that in this tax mitigation process that we help everybody in the whole process really go through, hey, are you set up proper all the way through to your foundational, all the way up until these in-depth strategies where we can actually set up foreign corporations and all kinds of crazy stuff to help asset retention here. And you go to a lot of accountants and they'll really focus on, hey, you need to spend more money. Well, our strategies, we really try to focus on asset retention and keeping it in your own pockets, but yet putting it appropriately in places where you get the tax deduction in the process.
Awesome. So that makes sense. You're going to be talking about, hey, this is how to keep your commissions, is how to keep your money you make, and how to do it legally, how to follow the rules, so you're never in a position where you're under an investigation and you're having a situation.
Exactly.
And that's not to say, I'm not saying that by attending your talk they'll never be audited or they'll never be. I'm not trying to say that, but what I'm saying is that it's definitely good to know. In the beginning, I wish I would have known how to keep my books properly and how to properly manage our money in the beginning. It would have saved me quite a headache. I'll tell the story right now of what happened with us with the name of our corporation and when we went to buy the house. And our accountant did some kind of, he came to us one day, our old accountant, our prior accountant came to us one day and said, hey, Omar, because the way you've been filing, you jointly or separately with your Melinda and the way that your business is, and since you guys are married, if we just do this one little change, I'm going to be able to get you $30,000 back here. Like, you can have it in a few weeks. It's just because we just have to refile or something like that. Now, my accountant comes to me and says, hey, if you file this thing, we'll give you the government's going to give you back 30 grand. Of course I'm going to sign it, right? So I signed it, and what it ended up being is that we had to actually change the type of corporation we had from an LLC to an S or I don't remember. It was something like that. What he didn't tell me was that the moment that we make that change, my entire history of my company starts all over again, right? So it's like a brand new Social Security number. And now all of a sudden, a few years, 2 years or 3 years down the line, when we've got you and we're ready to buy the house, they were like, well, you've only been employed by your current employer for 2 years or 3 years. And I'm like, what are you talking about? I've had this company for 9 years. And I'm like, no. Company was incorporated 3 years ago. And I'm like, oh my God. So because of that, the employment history, I was going to have a hard time getting my mortgage. Who's going to lend you $1 million if you haven't been, in your house in your job for 2 years. So these are things that I didn't know. That prior accountant didn't warn me. He didn't ask, well, Omar, what are your plans? Are you planning on buying a house in the next 10 years? Are you planning on doing this? Because this little change might screw you up. So Nate came to the rescue when that happened. Nate came to the rescue and I remember you really jumped in and got really involved with the purchase of my house, and you worked with our real estate guy, and I that meant the world to me. I remember talking to Melinda, and then I'm like, this is our accountant. Like, our accountant is on the phone with our real estate guy.
Which, funny enough, I was actually on vacation in North Carolina when I got a text message from you guys, and then also Jason Rutland, your mortgage broker. He was blowing me up saying, hey, what's going on here? Yes, I remember that. It was good. But in the end, getting the resolution and getting the fact that it all came down and we were able to land that plane, that's all that matters, right?
Yeah, man. Yeah. I just I loved how involved you got. It shows that you care. It's the reason why you have so many referrals, right? Because subsequently, I've sent so many people to you, and it's because of that kind of thing. So, how is you've already told us that you're going to help people keep the commissions. Let me ask you this. What do you as a presenter hope to gain by participating in the Commission Expo?
Well, it's like any of us. When we provide a service or when we have something that we can do to assist other people, our whole goal is to get in front of people that either A, we can assist them, or we can increase our referral network. And so whether it be the people sitting in that room or just somebody else that they might know, whether it be a nasty tax situation or the IRS, federal government coming after a friend of theirs, I'm all in this for relationships. And so whether it be somebody in that room or somebody down the road that they interact with, and something from my how to keep your commission conversations, and maybe some of my goofy jokes about people possibly getting arrested from tax audits and stuff like that, it's just a matter of something that day I hope to keep in the back of everybody's mind so that they can at least have it down the road. When they hit a wall, I'm there. And that's what I want. I want to be there when people hit these walls, or, like from this video, if somebody's trying to buy a house and they hit a wall, they're going to remember this story. And then that's when they'll reach out to us. And hopefully they'll get ahead of it and get us involved earlier on. But if not, when that day comes, they're going to remember it and they're going to give me a call.
Right. And that's the key. It's let's not wait till it gets to that situation. Make the right decision now. Get somebody that knows what they're doing, and it's awesome because you sit down with Nate and you go over the stuff, and then he's like, oh, you got to fix this, you got to fix that. So a year down the line, 2 years down the line, when you are ready to buy your house or do your thing, you're not going to have that, that problem that we ran into.
I always like to tell people, I'm good, I'm not God. If I don't know about the issue, I can't help resolve it. And that's where the earlier on we're involved, the better off we can be.
Awesome. So what advice would you have for viewers? Because right now there's people watching this that are thinking about attending the Commission Expo. And they're like, I know this guy's going to speak. I know that other guy's going to speak. I know she's going to be there, but I don't know if I want to spring the money for the ticket and if I got to take off work. What advice would you give for somebody that's on the fence right now, considering whether or not they should come to the event to see all the other speakers and you and the networking party and all that? What could you offer them to push them over the edge?
So here's the thing is if they're serious about business and if they're serious about being successful, you have to be around serious people about success. And the one thing I know about yourself and other people that are going to be at this event is you guys are serious about success. And so whatever layer they're at in the game at the beginning stages or even successful already, it's all about surrounding yourself with other people of greatness and then also being there to listen and learn to what you can take away. Because it doesn't matter who you're in touch with, you can always learn something from it. And that's my thing is when I'm interacting with people, I always want to have a takeaway. I always want to learn something from that conversation. And so my advice to you is get there, get networking, get meeting people, and really build relationships.
That is excellent advice. I am excited to listen to your talk. I will be sitting there taking notes. I want to learn how to keep the most amount of my commissions that I can because I think I can manage my money a lot better than the government can. So I want it, like you said, keep it in the family. Let's keep it in our account. Yep. Let us decide what charities get it, not the government. And I think that everybody can benefit from this talk, whether they're in the beginning and they can learn how to set things up right, or if they're already got an established business and they want to make sure they don't get in trouble with the IRS.
Exactly.
What is the day? Yeah, what is the day that you're talking on Saturday or on
Saturday morning?
Saturday morning, awesome. But you're going to be there the whole time, right? You're going to have a
That's
booth.
Correct.
So if and you're going to be there with your team. So if somebody just wants to come over and privately just ask you a couple questions about their taxes, that's good. They can do that as well.
Of course, yes.
Awesome.
We're there as a point of reference for people.
Great. And will you be hanging out with us at the bar as well? Are you going to wear your disco suit and do the dancing?
I might have to try to find some bell bottoms. I don't currently have any, so I might have to see what I can do on that side.
Come on, man! You got some stuff, man. You do. Nate,
I'll have to work on that. See what I got in the closet.
All right, Nate. Well, look, man. Thank you for taking the time to be on this with us. Thank you for being a sponsor of the Commission Expo. I'm looking forward to hearing your talk, and again, thanks for helping us get the house that we got. And I look forward to seeing you at the Commission Expo. And for the rest of you guys, there's a link below here. Make sure that you grab your tickets. The sooner the better. Remember, the price goes up. We've negotiated a huge discount on the hotel room, but you got to do it quick because as it gets closer to the event, price goes up. So take action right now, and we look forward to seeing you at the Commission Expo. Take care.